Hey, welcome to my channel. So today we're going to get into some of those things I referred to in my Are You a Food Addict video. Because it was two. It was so long it turned into two. I'm going to try not to turn this into two, but the material is what the material is. And when I get to run my mouth, you know, that adds to it. So this may or may not be two parts. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to talk about what to do, how to stop eating when you're not hungry. I'm not talking about when you are really hungry. You know, sometimes, a lot of times, we're like, oh, I am so hungry. We're not. We're not. We're craving things. You know, that food triggers that we talked about. There are things, the cravings hit us, and we're not actually truly hungry. We could do a video on that, on trying to discern the difference between true hunger and just wanting to eat out of whatever reason, boredom, or just wanting to taste something. A lot of times I want to eat just because I want to taste it. That has nothing to do with hunger. So these are things that I have researched, tips I have thrown together from different places I've gleaned over the internet. There's not one particular place, but I thought that's what we would talk about today. Some tips, some tricks, some strategies, or whatever. Now, these are not in any particular order. We got our coffee. Listen, that's one of them. That's number one. So we'll go on and get into it. It's drink water. To me, that means drink anything. I think you can drink, and I drink a lot of coffee during the day, and some people say, oh, don't drink so much coffee, it's not good for you, but we got to pick and choose our battles. That's all I know. I drink water, not as much as I should, but I do drink liquids all day long. And now, I am not of the camp who believes when you are truly hungry that taking a drink of anything is going to make that better. Because if you're hungry, you need to put food in your body. You need to fuel your body. But these are times when you know you're not hungry, but you still want to eat. Maybe grab you something to drink. And I say something 0 calorie, because I don't think that's any better. If you drink a full-blown Pepsi, how many ever calories is in that? Is any better than eating food that you don't need to eat, because you're still putting calories in your body that don't need to go in your body. Now, the exception to that is down here in the snacks. When we talk about that, we'll talk about that in a minute. One of my go-tos is 100-calorie Georgia peach tea, Lipton, in the bottle. I am not a bottled or canned tea drinker. I don't like it. But I was thirsty one day at the Dollar Tree, and my go-to is a Diet Mountain Dew. Well, I saw that bottle of Georgia Peach iced tea, and that's what got me, the Georgia Peach, because South Carolina and Georgia peaches are the best. That is so good. That drink is so good. Now, it's sweet. It's way sweeter than I like my tea, but when you are really thirsty, it hits the spot. So that's one of those. It's 100 calories for the whole bottle. So while I say find you a 0 calorie drink, I kind of break my own perception of what you should do right there, because I add that in to the category of one of my go-to snacks, which we'll get to in a minute. So drinking something can maybe stave off that hunger that you think you're having. It might can fight it for at least a little while before it comes back. Number 2, this is a big one. Eat more protein. It keeps you full longer and may reduce cravings. Some studies show high protein breakfasts reduce cravings. I know. I am one of those people that, had they done a study, I would have been in that part of it. If I don't eat a good breakfast, if I don't have eggs with every breakfast in some way, shape, or form, you can forget it. I'm going to be hungry the rest of the morning. There's something about eating your protein at breakfast. If you can get by eating yogurt and granola, then that's fine. I'm not telling you to all of a sudden turn it and eat a whole bunch of protein. But if you're eating the yogurt and the granola and you're still having those cravings, try adding some protein to your breakfast and see if that helps. Add a couple scrambled eggs or a few pieces of bacon, something like that. Number 3, this is one. Distance yourself from the food. When the cravings hit and you want to head to them tater chips and them little Debbie cakes, I got some examples. Take a walk, work on a hobby, go to your craft room, exercise, even take a shower. I was thinking, if you're to the point that you think you're going to eat your face off, go get in the shower. Deflect and divert your attention. Distance yourself from the food. Distance yourself from the craving. Find something I got here that will lift your mood or spirit like you think that food's going to. You think that food is going to get you high, which it is. It does. Us food addicts, we know it does give us a high. Try to find something that's going to lift your mood and make you feel as good as what you think that food is going to do. And then it talks about fighting stress. Now that's easier said than done, but along the same lines of distancing yourself from food, trying to stay away from stressful situations are also things that are going to help us not eat, because a lot of us are stress eaters, emotional eaters. So that's a hard one. That's one that if you suffer stress or a lot of emotions that get you to eat, maybe some of these things can help in that area. The distancing away with, walking and hobbies and things like that. The next one, here is a big one too. Well, these are all really big ones. Avoid getting hangry. Y'all know what hangry is. Hungry and angry slammed together. I don't know who coined that term, but it's a good one. That's where eating regular, substantial meals comes into play. Snacks as well. Plan your snacks. There is no rule, unless your doctor flat out tells you not to snack. There is no rule that says you cannot snack between meals, because a lot of people eat every 2 to 3 hours to keep from getting hungry. I'm going to tell you what, if I go more than that, it shows, because I will just throw my face in a pile of food and just start eating, because I do get hangry. My belly don't have to growl. My head is hangry. You see what I'm saying? So I have to have snacks. I'm telling you right now. But eat a good meal. Don't, I'm trying to think of something. Just, the protein's important. Eat regularly. You don't have to look at the clock and say, okay, 8 o'clock I ate breakfast, 12 o'clock I ate lunch, 6 o'clock I ate supper. You don't have to pin it down to that unless you have a schedule that requires you to eat at a certain time. But try to eat regular so that there's not such a long period of time in between to where you get hangry. And that's where I was talking about the snacks. I say have some emergency snacks. Have some 911 snacks, the ones that if the hangry hits, you have got them on hand and you can run to those. If your family still has to have snack cakes in the house, you have something healthier to go to, or you're going to head straight for Miss Debbie. Miss Debbie going to be hollering your name. Kim, come over here. I'm what you really want. You got to try to have some things on hand. If it's cheese, cube cheese, cottage cheese, trail mix. I got trail mix in there because it's got nuts and seeds and things in it. That helps. Peanut butter. Grab a couple of tablespoons of peanut butter. It's amazing. I keep those little Jif to goes in my pocketbook. I got my little emergency, I call it my little emergency blood sugar kit, because sometimes I get out and about and my blood sugar starts doing that dropping. And when I get like that, sometimes I get real shaky and I get real nervous, and I get used to was really bad. I would start seeing like not stars, but like this lightning looking thing would, and I couldn't see anything else. It would like blind me for that. I would get really bad. So I just try to make sure I have something where if I were to ever get that bad, I don't try to get to that point. But anyway, Jif to Go is one of them. I keep a little plastic spoon in there with my trail mix, some little Slim Jims. So have you an emergency snack kit. If you don't have, fruit don't do it for me. A banana can help. Now that's one fruit. That is one fruit that can help me stave off something, and that's a banana. But I was on Simply Feeling when I first started Weight Watchers. That's the program I started on. I didn't start on Freestyle. I started on Simply Feeling because at the time they were doing both. That was three years ago. That's where I lost my first like 30 pounds before everything went kaflooey, and it's been kaflooey ever since. But I ate a lot of bananas. When I knew I was getting hungry and I wanted something, I could always count on a banana. And I lost 30 pounds during that time eating a couple bananas a day. I try not to do that now because I don't know. We're going to talk about this Thursday on my way in about my body. But what I'm saying is have some healthy snacks to go to avoid eating like what I tell you, like you're going to the electric chair. Try not to do that. Try to stop it before it happens. Now here's one that I'm better than I used to be. My CPAP machine had broke, but I had saved my old one, which is still the same titration. Is that the word? Rate. So it's not as nice as the one I had that broke, but it works. And if I don't fall asleep first and remember to put it on, it does pretty good. So I'm getting about 6 hours a night. Now I'm still up in the middle of the night because I fall asleep in the chair. I fall asleep in the chair. Some nights I don't get but a couple hours. So I don't know what my average is, but I can tell you what, sleep deprivation is a bad one. So it says here, sleep deprivation disrupts normal hormone fluctuations that affect our hunger and our appetite. So they've done sleep studies. Sleep studies are, everywhere. Studies show sleep deprived people, get this, are 55% more likely to be obese. So there's something to be said for getting those Z's. Let me turn that so I don't drop it. And I know, like when you wake up, that's what happens to me. When I can't sleep, I wake up and I'm hurting and I can't go back to sleep. So I don't know how. You'll have to do some research on that. I ain't no sleep expert on ways to get better sleep. I can just tell you, try to, because there's a correlation between sleep deprivation and obesity. Then, this one, let me drink on this one. This is what I'm working on. This one, and I don't know if I gotta, it might be on the next page. Practice mindful eating when we do eat. If we eat crap food, we're going to crave crap food. I can attest to that. The more junk I eat, the more junk I want. The more sugar I eat, the more sugar I want. That's why sugar, my trigger food, is the one that has to stay away. Snack cakes, homemade desserts, oh my God, forget about it. I got my list. The bread store, Harris Teeter's Truly Chocolate Ice Cream. Oh my gosh, forget about it. There is no portioning out that. You can forget it. No, it ain't happening. So when we're eating our meals. Let's try to be mindful about what we're eating. Mindful not just in the portion of it, mindful in what it actually is. Now, I ain't the poster child for healthy eating, and especially here lately, I've just been eating what I like. And I'm going to tell you what, I have so much less stress about food. Yes. But it's talking about take time to concentrate on the food when we put it in our mouth. I was reading something that said, don't watch TV, don't check your phone. I'm bad about when I'm eating. I'm checking my phone, I'm scrolling through comments, I'm trying to comment back or watching a YouTube video, and I'm not paying attention to what I eat. I'm just shoving it in my face because it's right there in front of me. So we probably could have stopped maybe half our plate. We would have been full if we had been paying attention. If we'd have been paying attention and letting our body tell us, hey, girl, stop. Put the fork down, back away from the plate. But we're sitting there, we're busy, we're not paying attention, and if it's on the plate, we're going to eat it. So maybe there's another one. Pay attention to how much we put on our plate. I think we do have a portion control in here. We have to. If we don't, we're going to add it. This one I call nip it in the bud. Don't go shopping hungry, because what happens? You buy everything your little heart craves. If you see it and you're hungry, it don't matter. It is up there dancing in front of you, talking about, pick me, pick me. I know, I've been there. And when me and my husband go shopping together, oh my gosh, it is ridiculous. We went to Sam's. We never go out to the stores together anymore. A few times a year, because I always do the pickup. I will pay Food Line $4 to shop 5 items for me, just to keep from having to get in and out of the car and walk, because it's that much of a struggle. Well, since I got on these new pain meds, I'm able to move a little better than I was. So we went to Sam's Saturday. Oh my gosh, Saturday of all days. It was off the hook crazy. But we were there together, so we bought all kind of stuff. That's what happens when we shop together. But we weren't hungry. So we weren't shopping out of hungry. We were just shopping out of, oh my gosh, we ain't been here in so long, and we surely ain't been nowhere together. So you want that? Well, let's get that. Okay, let's get that. But the point is, excuse me a minute, I had got a little dry spot. Don't go hungry, because you're going to buy stuff that you know you shouldn't buy, and you're going to buy those trigger foods. So I say nip it in the bud. Eat you something before you go. Make sure your belly is full before you walk in that store. Oh, I put a note here. You can't eat what ain't in the house. So if you don't bring it in, you can't eat it. Plan your meals. That's a hard one for a lot of people. But planning, I've got any planning is better than no plan. Even if you just plan one meal, you just start and plan one meal. You this week I'm going to have barbecue chicken and blah, 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 whatever. Then make sure you have what you need for that one meal. Next week, maybe you can plan 2 meals. Then the next week, maybe you can plan a few lunches. And then maybe add some breakfast to it. But however you plan it, if it's not a formal plan that you put down, Monday I'm having this and Tuesday I'm having this, if it's just this week, sometime during the week, these are the foods that I want to eat, have that plan. Write it down though, so you can look at it. I had been putting mine forever, years, on the refrigerator, and it was getting on my nerves. So it's taped inside my cabinet door now. But put it somewhere you can see it. If you do tape it inside your cabinet door, if you don't want it on your refrigerator, somewhere where you can open up and look at it. And if you can't remember what kind of snacks you got, just keep a snack list, but just plan. Part of that, like my note here says, knowing what you'll be eating takes away that uncertainty of what you're going to eat. So it comes lunchtime and you're standing in the middle of the kitchen looking around going, what am I going to eat? And there's something in the house that maybe you shouldn't eat. Maybe it's not the healthiest choice. Maybe it's a trigger food because other family members can eat your trigger food, but you cannot. If they don't bring it in the house. If they don't have to have it, then don't bring it in the house. But let's say there's stuff around that you know is going to take you over the top. Knowing what you're going to eat and having it in the house is a big one. So you're not standing there at the last minute scrounging and grabbing. And part of that planning at home is cooking at home. Learn to cook at home. You can control, like, you can still eat at restaurants. We eat at restaurants. But cooking at home for and I don't care if it's a frozen dinner, that's at home. You can control how much you eat better at home than you can at a restaurant. Sure, you can tell them, just bring me half of my entree and wrap the other half to go. Well, guess what? That other half is going home with you to get eat. If you're cooking at home, you can go ahead and cook half, and then you don't have any leftovers. So, some of your favorites at the restaurants, learn to cook them at home because you can make healthier versions of them. If you don't have to, if you don't want to, cooking at home will save you money too. That's just a side bonus. But I'm about to drop it again. Cooking at home can help you stay out of the restaurants, stay out of the fast food drives, and watch your portion sizes. That was coming up next. Look at there. Practice portion control. One thing I read, some people will weigh and track and measure the rest of their lives. And then some things I say, weigh and measure until you can figure out that how much it is. And they give a bowl of cereal as an example. When you first couple weeks, if cereal is what you eat, figure out your serving size, measure it, put it in the bowl. Look at the bowl and see where that cereal comes up to. And your serving size, let's say, is a cup of milk, whatever milk it is. Measure it, pour it in there, see where it comes up, and use the same bowl every time, obviously, and see where the cereal comes up with the milk, where it comes up in the bowl. Do that for a couple weeks until you have trained yourself to look at it and say, okay, that's where it comes up for a cup of cereal, that's where it comes up for a cup of milk. If you can't, then weigh and measure every single time. That's where I am struggling in consistently, consistently weighing and measuring. I hate weighing and measuring. So I'm not consistent with it. Some days are better than other days. Some days I just eyeball it. And if you haven't practiced, you're not that good at it. But portion control is key. And see, that's what I'm doing now. I'm just eating regular old food. I'm not stressing over it. I told you I'm tired of micromanaging everything that goes in my mouth. But I'm learning how to eat less. And it's hard. It is hard. I don't care if you're eating dog food. Don't eat the dog food. Bird food. I don't care if you're eating bird food or if you're eating fat cat food. Whatever you want to call it. I don't care. You still have to practice the portion control. You can still overeat. Like if you're on Weight Watchers, which I was for, how many years, you can still overeat your 0 point foods. That just because they're 0 points don't mean they're 0 calories. Don't mean that you're not going to eat more than you actually need to eat. Just because they're 0 point foods don't mean you're going to not eat them when you're not really hungry. If you're not hungry, you don't need that 0 point food. So we just need to learn how to eat a proper portion until we're full. That is where I am struggling because I've got to learn when I'm full. I got to quit eating for that taste in my mouth. That's a big problem with me, is if it tastes good, it is like I zone out and I'm just on it. I did good last night. I practiced perfect portion control because I made a meatloaf. And y'all have no idea how much I love meatloaf. I think I could sit down and eat half of one in one sitting easily because my meatloaf is really good. I like other people's meatloaf too if it's good. Everybody can't make a meatloaf, I'm gonna tell you right now. Meatloaf and tater salad. There's just certain things that I like a certain way, and a good meatloaf, I can honk down on it. All right. Last night I took my one piece, I cut it into equal portions. I took my one portion, I took my one baked potato, and that's all I ate. And I didn't even snack. And I did take two rolls, two of the little square rolls. I took two of them. I should have only took one. So I told you, it's a learning curve. That's what I told you in my meal prep. It's a learning curve. My eyeballs wanted two, so I put two on my plate and I ate two. Had I only put one on my plate, that's what I would have eaten. That would have been portion control of the whole plate. And I didn't weigh my baked tater. I just ate it. I picked out normal, decent, regular sized potatoes. I didn't pick the biggest ones in the bag. And then I ate it, and I didn't have a snack the rest of the night. It actually did fill me up. So the fact that I didn't go back when I woke up after, because that's what I do. Even if I fall asleep in the chair, I'll wake up. And sometimes I stay up. Even if I do get 6 hours, it's a longer 6 hours because I was up for a few hours in the middle of the night. And then I'll get over and fall back asleep again. But I didn't eat any more. I wanted some this morning when I finally got up the last time. I wanted to go in there and get that meatloaf. I'm like, don't do it. You got your breakfast prep. Just hang on. You'll have some breakfast. Now, that's not to say I'm not going to eat some meatloaf later on today. I'm not going to make no guarantees. But the point is, I actually practiced portion control last night on one of my favorite meals on the planet. So, let's get together and work on that one. Tracking to me, hold on, I'm drinking a lot today. Tracking is not one of those acute things that, okay, I'm feeling hungry, let me go track some food. Tracking is just kind of one of those helps to let you kind of eyeball what you've done during the day. So you're wanting to eat, but you're not hungry. Flip back through your tracker and see, have you had enough? Have you had too much? And that kind of can maybe help you gauge if you are hungry or not. Maybe you've come across it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon and you hadn't eaten breakfast at 7 and you ain't had nothing in between and you're hungry and you're thinking, I don't know, am I hungry or not hungry? If you can look back at your tracker and say, yeah, I probably am hungry that many hours, 5 hours. But it can help you see also a pattern. If there is a certain time of day, every day that you get hungry, look back in your tracker and see, is there a pattern in the way you eat? Do you need to change the way you eat during the day? Now, there's not necessarily times, depending on what tracker you got. I don't know if there are any trackers out there that puts the time, which unless you're very, very, very diligent, you're not going to track it at the very moment that you eat it. You're just not. Some people are that diligent. Not me. I'm not one of those. But tracking it can help you look back and kind of, I've got something in my eyeball. I am so sorry. It can just help you see what you have eaten, kind of check your patterns, see if you've eaten enough protein, those kind of things. So that's why I added tracking to the mix. Now these last ones are, these are thinkers. These are ones that we really have to concentrate on learning how to do. Retrain how we think about food. We have to think of food as nourishment for our bodies, not as entertainment or comfort. That's a big one. That could be a video in itself on how do we do that, because I don't know how. I have not gone and researched. See, when you start researching these things, they lead you to tree. It's like going up the tree trunk. Then you've got all these branches that goes off, and there's all these little things that can add to See, this is the big picture, what we're talking about. There's a lot of little pictures in amongst these big pictures, but we've got to retrain how we think of food. Food, for us food addicts, is a comfort. It is entertainment. I cannot tell you how many times me and David have said about our food is, well, we don't do nothing else. What have we got? We watch TV, we eat food. We don't have anything else. We do nothing else. So to us, food has become a source of entertainment. What we gonna eat? What we gonna eat? What you want to eat? You want something good? I know some of y'all know what I'm talking about. You don't have nothing else. You don't do nothing else. My physical abilities keep us from having outside hobbies. I can't walk anywhere. We can't go anywhere. Like, I went to Sam's and I was able to walk around Sam's, but we can't go anywhere that requires any kind of physical effort. That it sucks. I'll tell you, it sucks. So over the years, food has just become something that we look forward to. And he's always so tired on the weekends. Even if we could do something, he'll make himself. He can go without sleep. I'm going to tell you what, he's crazy. I don't know how he does it. If I had to do what that man does to keep our family going, we'd be living in a ditch. That's all I can say. We'd be living in a ditch. I couldn't do it. Hardest working man I have ever known in my entire life. But that's what we do. We watch TV and we eat. So we've got to stop thinking of, even if we do watch TV and eat, not make it be those trigger foods. Not, let's say, oh, well, we ate a healthy dinner. Let's go and get that milkshake, because you know what? There, a couple weeks ago, we was getting a couple of milkshakes. I think within 2 weeks we had gone and got 3 or 4 milkshakes. So those are the things we have to retrain our brains that, okay, tonight's treat night, but maybe we don't have to go fully overboard if it's going to send us off track. If it ain't going to put you off a track, have your treat, get it out of your system and move on. There are some foods I can do that with, like pizza. Pizza don't put me off track. If I want pizza, I can have it, and I can easily go back on track the next day. Pizza doesn't send me over the edge. A box of what? Sends me over the edge, because then the next day I want something else, and then I'm like, the other way, oh, I'm going to make me a sun-drop pound cake. So it just spirals from there. So there are certain things. Those are the things I guess we need to retrain our brain about. I put a note here. Make a conscious decision about what goes in our mouths. That's just what we were saying. Really, really think about what we eat, when we eat it, and how much we eat it. That becomes our retraining our brain. Then finally, keep our goals in mind. My goals, I've told y'all before, just because I'm not successful, I feel like I got coffee left over. Let's add some fresh. Listen, if this thing don't get out of my eyeball, you know what Dave would tell me? I'd be going, there's something in my eye. Cue the dad joke. Your finger. What is it about dad jokes? My goals, I have goals. Y'all know what they are. I don't need to go over them. Just because I'm not successful don't mean I don't have my goals in mind. But I guess we need to replay them in our mind. Sometimes they just kind of sit back here and we don't bring them to the forefront. Maybe we need to run them like a movie. Is it going to, this food, like when I was in the Dollar Tree, or Mighty Dollar the other day, and I was looking at them honey barbecue tater chips. I stood there and said, are those going to help me get to where I need to get to, or are they not? Are these foods that I'm craving, are they going to help me? Are they going to hinder me on my goal? If they're going to hinder you, spit it out. No, don't spit it out. Don't put it in there to spit it out. Just don't eat it. So I guess we need to keep them at the forefront of our mind and replay them at every. If we have to, if we have to stand there and replay our goals every time we're faced with a food situation, maybe our brain will get some muscle memory. You know what I mean? That it will maybe automatically start because we have trained it. When I look at those snack cakes, I have to stand there every time and say, okay, are they going to help me or hinder me? Here's what I want. Here's what I want to accomplish. Maybe after a certain length of time of doing that, our brains will just have muscle memories of, oh, snack cakes. Keep going. No biggie. Next. So that's all I have for you today. Ways that I think we can help us not to eat when we're not hungry. And if you have any tips or tricks or strategies that help you specifically, put them down in the description box. And everybody, go and read all the comments. Don't just comment. Go and read everybody else's, because they might have a tip or trick that you've never thought of, and certainly that I've never thought of, that might specifically help get them over the hump. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay strong. I'm trying to. Not there yet, but I'm working on it. Okay. See you in my next video.